Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com. Today we're going to be working on the clutch system on our 2017 Yamaha Raptor YFM700R. More specifically, we're going to concentrate on the drive gears, the gears that go on our counterbalance, and then getting the clutch basket mounted, get those plates in there, and then the cases installed themselves. Now, as far as the parts go, I've got everything I'm going to use already laid out on the table. And if you need this parts list, why don't you check the link in the description below where that little arrow is. It's already got a shopping cart ready to go with everything that I'm going to be using on this build. Now, if your machine's a little bit different, not a 2017, well, come to our website, Partzilla.com, and then drill down to your particular machine so you can get the correct parts. If you're still having trouble, then give us a call. That's what we're here for, and we can guide you to the correct parts for your application. So if you've got your parts together, let's take a look at the tools that we're going to need to pull this off. So beyond your regular toolbox, there are a few special tools that you're going to need to get a hold of. On the socket side, make sure you've got a 27, a 30, and then a 36. Also want to make sure you have a good pair of circlip pliers. On the really specialty side, you need what they call a clutch boss holder. Love this Henson unit, is well made. Also going to need to pick up a bearing driver set, and as always, a good torque wrench. So once you've got that together, we can go over there and get this thing done. So let's go. I started this process by soaking the fiber plates in oil for about an hour. Now that we have the plates ready to go, I've got everything laid out, and now we can actually begin the build. And we're going to start with getting our different gears that are associated with the crankshaft as well as the counterbalance shaft. All right, we'll start with the main drive gear. We're going to lay it in, and then we're going to put this Woodruff key in with it, and then we'll continue stacking gears on top of it. So don't be alarmed by this Woodruff key right here. That is actually sitting where it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be below the crankshaft itself, because there is a gear that's going to ride over it, and it'll be even with that. Put our next gear in. And this one. See what I was talking about? Plenty of room now. All right, next, let's work on our counterbalance gears. They're identical, so you can't mix them up. Let's go ahead and get our Woodruff key in place. When we bring our gear down, you want to line up this dot with the dot on that primary drive gear, like so. Next, we'll go ahead and put our lock washer in, and our nut. Actually, we can go ahead and do that for our main as well. Now let's get that other balance Woodruff key in place. Then bring in the gear and line it up with that other dot on the other side of the gear. Like that. So it's time to get these torqued down. The balancer gear nuts go to 43 foot-pounds, and this large one on the main drive, it goes to 80. And the way you hold these together, depending on which way you're turning, is to use a piece of aluminum and just wedge it in the gear, and that's going to hold everything still. I'm going to rotate the engine up so I can get enough torque to get that one tightened down. We'll do the 80 foot-pound one first. And this is actually a 36 millimeter bolt. There we go. Now let's bring it down to 43 and get those other two counterbalance gears. There we go. Good to go. Now, at this point, we need to bring up those tabs on those locking washers to make sure these don't go anywhere. That should do. Now get the other two. All right, I don't think that's going to jump off. With those locked down, let's get the cover for that upper balancer gear. A little bit of Loctite on there, each one. Not mandatory, but it makes me feel better. 7.2 as usual. Squirt in a little oil on all these different moving parts. And I'm sure it'll be saturated, down in the section once we fill it up, but I'd rather be sure on first start. So now let's start putting the actual clutch together. Let's go and get our clutch basket in. Be careful bringing this down, make sure it lines up correctly with your oil pump, because that is a plastic gear and we don't want to break it. So yeah, we're good. That went in nice and smooth. Next, this conical washer. Then our clutch boss. Then this particular washer, make sure that it actually says out, facing towards you. Get on the boss nut, and then I'm going to go grab a holder, hold this still, and then get it torqued down. We carry a couple of different boss holders. There's one from Motion Pro and one from Henson, but the Henson actually fits in there better, and so there's less chance of you damaging that boss. All right, now we're going to bring this to 68 foot-pounds. When you get ready to do this, you may want to get some help. So this is going to be a lot to hold still. There we go. I got it. Thank you, Garrett. I recognize Garrett from some of our other videos. Now we just need to stake both of those two areas right there. Gotcha. So before we go any further, I need to actually drive in this bearing into our pressure plate. And then we'll go ahead and start putting the disc in. That should do it. All right, with that in place, let's go ahead and start putting some plates in. All right, now we're going to drop in the spring cushion, and it actually has the word outside stamped on it, and you want that facing towards you. Now we need to find that one oddball right there, because it has to go on next, because it actually fits around that cushion. And at this point, we can just start stacking them in, alternating the metal plate with the fiber plates. All right, next, we've got our pressure plate ready to go. Don't forget this pull piece, our springs, and then the bolts. So the pull goes in from the back side. We'll just sit it in place. Now the springs. Now we're going to start putting in the bolts. When you're tightening these down, just do it in a general crisscross pattern. And these go to 5.3 foot-pounds. We're about ready to finish up, but I have a little bit more work than you probably have to do, because unless you're replacing your, I think they call this crankcase cover number 3, yours should be just ready to bolt back on with a new gasket. I, however, have to put in these bearings and the clutch arm and this seal and this plate. So just a couple of bearings that need to be put in. This really small one that goes down in first, and I don't have a bearing driver that small. So the way we're going to do it, we're going to use one of our little 1/4-inch sockets. In this case, it's going to be a 9mm. Sounds like it. Next, let's get in this top one. Make sure this driver is going to go in far enough. Looks like it will. Looks like we're good to go. Tell you what, while we're here, let's go go ahead and get our seal in place. Now, put a little bit of oil in both of those bearings. Now we can get our arm through there. Looks like it. Washer. Then the circlip. Now, let's get this seal. It goes on the inside of the case. There we go. Then you have a plate that goes over it. Put a little bit of Loctite on those two bolts. Just a couple of 5mm Allens. And each one of these will have that magic 7.2 foot-pounds. All right, we're almost ready to put the cover on. We need to go ahead and get in this oil check valve ball. Spring first in the ball. And then put the seat on top of it and just press it in. Got our dowels, got our case ready to go. Just need to go get the gasket, then we can get it put on. Make sure you get off any oil that may have wandered up to the surface. Otherwise, it's not going to seal properly. And get our dowels in. Now we can go ahead and lay in our gasket. Now the fun part. The pull, you want it aiming toward the back of the machine, or the back of the engine in this case. And when we bring the cover over, we want to start with the clutch lever arm basically parallel with the engine cover. So what's going to happen when we lower the case down, it's going to engage with this pin, with these teeth inside here, and then the arm's going to pull it through, or pull it in. And then it'll be in position for the clutch cable to get attached and then pull on this pin when we want to release the pressure plate. Starting perpendicular or parallel. Okay, I found it. Now, as we bring it down, I'm going to rotate it. Okay, now we've got it in its resting place right here. This little mark right here should be in line with this mark on the crankcase cover. So that should have us in the ballpark. Well, let's start putting some bolts in. Okay, there are 14 of these bolts. They're all the same length. The only thing that you're going to need to pay attention to is there's a bracket that we need to have up top for the clutch cable, and she goes right there. Then there's a holder down at the bottom of this part that goes right here. Now the rest of them, it's just bolts straight into the cover. All right, guys, because I know this engine is not going in a Raptor 700 frame, it has another destination, we're going to take off that little holder and just put the bolt in, because otherwise that's going to get squished. And as always, we're going to take all of these to 7.2. All right, next, let's go ahead and get the water pump installed. When you order it as an assembly, it's already put together. But don't forget to put on this O-ring. Make the installation a little bit easier. Lightly coat the O-ring with some grease. That'll aid in it going into place and reduce the chance that it would fold up and get torn. And when you're pushing this down, align your gears down below, because you don't want to force it other than having to go past the O-ring, getting it to go in. There we go. Next is going to be our gasket, then our outer cover. So that one's there, that long one's here, other mid-size one there. Then you've got three that are the same size. Just want to make sure this bottom one right here has that copper washer on it. 7.2 as usual. Next, let's go ahead and get the oil filter in. Don't forget your little O-ring that goes here. Then you've got an O-ring in the cap. And it's just held in place by 3 5mm Allen heads. We're just going to snug it down initially, and then we're going to torque it. Take these to 7.2 foot-pounds. I think it's going to be the last piece on this side, and it's just this oil fill plug. Don't forget your O-ring on the bottom of it. It's a 10mm Allen. We're just going to snug it down. All right, guys, that wraps this one up. Well, listen, if you need any parts for your machine, why don't you check us out at Partzilla.com, and we can get you taken care of. If you need these exact parts, there's a link in the description below that's going to take you to a shopping list with everything that we installed on this video. Now, if you've got any questions or comments, why don't you leave those in the section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. We just want to say thanks for shopping here with us at Partzilla, and we will see you in the next video. Have a great day.